guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So I actually haven't done a video like this for some time. I'm actually going to do a normal preview and probably do a review game thing afterwards. I've really been getting into live sessions, but I think I'm going to just leave my live sessions for once a week on a Thursday evening. So I'm just going to do the previews and the reviews for this weekend. So obviously the first game of the weekend, we've got England versus New Zealand. I think it's going to be a cracker of a game. I think this is probably the two best teams who are on form for the Rugby World Cup. I think they've both selected really strong teams. A bit of moving players around and stuff like that, but overall it's looking like really two strong teams that are going to be playing on the field. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the teams, and then I'll pick out players that I really like, and then I'll give my prediction for the game. So on the England side, we've got Makavina Polo, Jamie George, Carl Sinclair, it's the front row. Mario Tojo, Courtney Laws, second row. Tom Curry, Sam Underhill and Billy Vunipola, the back three. We've got Ben Youngs and George Ford as the halfback pairing. We've got Johnny May, Anthony Watson and Elliot Daly as the back three, and then Owen Farrell and Manu Tuilagi at 12 and 13. So yeah, the big thing that on that side is we're looking obviously at the 10-12 split between George Ford and Owen Farrell. I had a feeling they might do this against New Zealand, especially because New Zealand also have a two playmaker system. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the New Zealand side, and then I'll comment on them both. On New Zealand side, we've got Joe Moody, Cody Taylor, Nipo Lelalala as the front row, Brody Retallick and Samuel Whitelock at the back row, or the locks, Scott Barrett, Artie Severe and Kieran Reid as the back three, Aaron Smith, Richie Mwanga as the halfback pairing. We've got George Birch, Sivu Reese and Bowden Barrett as the back three, and then we've got Anton Leonard Brown and Jack Couture at 12 and 13. So yeah, I'm looking at this, and it's a seriously, there's top quality sides. I think the one big difference is obviously Australia and New Zealand have brought in Scott Barrett, obviously trying to bring in a blindside flanker with Liam Squire being injured. They obviously don't have a proper dedicated blindside flanker, and Scott Barrett's got the size and he can pull off the role. Especially, I really rate the back three of England. I think they're one of the three best operating back threes currently playing. Tom Curry and Sam Underhill have been revelations for the side. They are always everywhere over the park. They've got big engines. Billy Vunipola always gives you that front football. So I think they've brought in Scott Barrett to try combat that. And then moved Artie Severe at 7. I think Artie Severe could play any of those positions, 6, 7 or 8. He's that good. Looking at the front rows, I think Jamie George, Cody Taylor, pretty evenly matched number twos. Makavina Polo, for me, is the best loose head in the world, and I think Nipo Lelalala is going to have a tough day at the office for that. I think Carl Sinclair is going to come under a little bit of pressure from Joe Moody. I don't think he's come up against a world-class... Actually, did he come against... No, he hasn't played a world-class... Who did they play? Australia. Well, actually, Australia have good loose heads. But yeah, I think Joe Moody's got the experience across the park. Got Mario Toji and Courtney Laws as the main jumpers and locks on the England side, and then Brody Retallick and Samuel Whitelock on the New Zealand side. I think Brody Retallick is probably one of the best rugby players in the world currently playing. But I really like Courtney Laws. For me, he's always been a really good super sub, and it's nice to actually see him now being in the starting 15. I also think he's got a great big engine, and I think it's gonna come down to which pack can produce the physicality and get one over the other, because I know England like to play that kind of game where they get the physical dominance, they get the go forward ball, and then they play from that. Whereas New Zealand they do play like that, but they also have more ball playing forwards, obviously linking players, stuff like that. Looking at the halfback pairings, I think Ben Youngs is going to be targeted quite by Aaron Smith. I think he's one of the weaker links in the England side. Maybe he's just young and he just needs a few more years. But Aaron Smith is on sublime form. He's back to being the world number 1 and number 9 in the world. And then George Ford, Richie Mwanga. That's a tough one, because I like George Ford. But yeah, I would have. It's just Owen Farrell at 10. I really like Owen Farrell at 10. But yeah, the 10-12 split is. It looks like that's what England are going to play. They brought both playmakers onto the field, whereas New Zealand have obviously the 10-15 split. So yeah, it's going to be interesting because obviously the 10s control the game, and I've really liked the form that George Ford's been on. He has been in sublime form. Then we're looking at world-class wingers across the park here. Johnny May is probably the best finisher currently playing. Probably say Makazole and Pimpi is probably about the same. So that's a real big compliment in my books. Anthony Watson, I really like Anthony Watson. He makes tries. For the other side, George Bridge he hasn't really lit the world on fire this World Cup, but he's an exceptional player, and I think he's going to do really well. And Siva Reese is just very physical, gets over the gain line. Then we get down to the 15s, the fullbacks. If I look at it, Beauden Barrett is by far, I think I'm really enjoying him playing at 15. I think he is sublime at 15. It gives him so much more space to do whatever he needs to do. And the guy's an absolute genius. And I think this game is going to hinge on one player from either side. And it's going to be, if Owen Farrell does not play well on the weekend, I'd see England having a really difficult time trying to win this game. And if Beauden Barrett doesn't do this magic, I see exactly the same for... because both sides are very evenly matched across the park. I honestly do believe they are evenly matched. So it's going to come down to your X-Factor players producing those amazing tries, those amazing moves, and yeah, we're going to see it. And also, we're going to see what kind of line speed England are going to bring. Are they going to be real hard rush press defence, and how will New Zealand cope with that? Are they going to do their crossfield kicks? I saw that game against Ireland. They were really mixing it up. They were going amongst the forwards. They were crossfield kicking. They were long passing. So they really mixed it up, and they really tried lots of different things. So I'm seeing exactly the same from them. If I look at the bench, pretty good bench for Sonny Bill Williams obviously coming on. Honestly, I think the bench for New Zealand is a little bit better than England. I think it's going to come down to that. If I look at Perinara, any Sam Cane, Dane Coles, Sonny Bill Williams, I think there's some really big impact players that can come off the field, come onto the field in the latter parts of the game, especially when it starts opening up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. I think this is going to be the game of the World Cup, and chances are the one who wins this game is probably going to win the World Cup. Let's be honest. And look at it as a bit of a pity that these two teams didn't meet in the final, because they are super evenly matched. Now we come down to predictions. I've actually gone just on history and form and things like that. I've put New Zealand to win by 2 points on my Super Brew. I think it's going to come down to that. I think it's going to come down to a drop goal, or it's going to come down to kicking. I think New Zealand are going to start playing Test rugby. We haven't seen them play Test rugby for some time. And I think, but yeah, like I said, I think England could easily win this game if things work out for them, and if things don't work out for New Zealand. I just feel both teams are evenly matched across the park, and at the end of the day, may the best team win, because these are the two best teams on form currently at the Rugby World Cup, and it'd be really good to see them play on the weekend. I'm hoping that I think there's going to be a few handbags thrown, and I think there's going to be a little bit of pushing and shoving. I think it's going to end up becoming one of those kind of games. I'm hoping that there's no red cards. Yellow cards are just a fact of life. I'm just hoping there's no red cards to really affect the outcome of the game, and we end up having a game of 15 players on both sides going hammer and tongs, and it's good, entertaining rugby. So listen, guys, I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Tomorrow I'll do my video for South Africa, Wales. But yeah, guys, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Enjoy the games that are coming up. Chat soon. Cheers. Bye.